Hi everyone, I'm Stefano from SottoZen channel. Welcome to this new video tutorial. I will show you how to animate this simple cartoonish jump upon this default cube here in Blender. Let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is to have some reference. So in this case, I filmed myself jumping on a table. You probably know that you can easily drag a picture over your 3D scene, but you can also do the same with a video. So in this case, I just imported this video that I made of myself jumping on this table, and I have to reset the rotation pressing Alt-R and then rotate it on the X and then 180 on the Y axis in order to have it aligned with the same direction of my character. And if the video stops, it's probably because you have to increase this number of frames in order to have the entire length of your video available. Okay, this is important to have because even if you are experienced and you think that you know how some kind of action is going to happen, to have a reference is always a good habit. So what we can see here is that we can analyze some kind of key poses. Let me hide for one moment my character. And we have some starting position, some kind of neutral pose here, and then we go down to prepare for the jump itself. So my arms swing back, and this is important because when we have to jump high, we use our arm to balance and to give us momentum and energy during the jump. So we have this second position here that is some kind of anticipation of the action itself. And then we have the maximum force that our legs are making. We can say that in this moment we have still the contact, so we have this other key pose that's the maximum legs extension while still in the ground contact. And then the body inherit the force that the legs gave. And then we have this mid-air position that starts slowly to go back, and our feet goes to in search of contact. So they want to land in a safely and proper way, hopefully. We have this recovery of our balance. So the problem is that my character here has a different anatomy. So let's hide this. Many times when you are dealing with cartoonish character, you have to interpret what's happening in the real world and try to translate into a cartoonish language. Let me hide this cube for one moment, and in front of you I enter pose mode in this rig here, and let's create some kind of starting position. I will use often the Ctrl+C and paste on the opposite side to help me speed up the process, but then I try to change a little bit to not have a symmetrical situation too much. So also probably I want to have 1 foot and the center of body not really on the 0, and then we want to have him in a good balanced position. Okay, so we are here and we have this starting position, and I want to set the first keyframes. And what I do, I never use the auto animate option. Instead, I select the object that I know that they will use location and rotation keyframes, like in this case the hip, the hands and the feet. And then I select all the other objects that I will use for sure, not this one, for sure during the first phase of the animation. And I know that all these objects, most of the time, they will only need rotation keyframe. So let's prepare for our anticipation, so for the moment where we take all the energy and prepare for the jump. So to do this very easily, we can go ahead maybe 6 frames, or let's do 8, and let's rise up a little bit our hands and the shoulder bone also help in this situation, and this one we want to stay, let's say something like this. Okay, and once again I copy and paste on the opposite side, and then I made some little change. I'm skipping for now all the finger and hair animation. These are details that I usually add later. So I and rotation keyframe for this. Let's frame what we have so far here. And I want also to have this to move. I want to only use translation animation for this object. For all that will be the rotation of the body, I will use these two bones here. So we can also maybe rotate a little bit this. So we have this simple movement here so far. And then we can add maybe 4 frames to slow down and finish this simple movement here. I want to bend on my knee, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try 6 keyframes. Let's go down with this and let's rotate this. I want to reset, pressing Alt R, the default position of this bone here, and then I need this one to be more near to the body, and then the hand will go somewhere here, more outside. Here we have one problem with this elbow pole control, so let's try to reset this, and then maybe something like this, and let's try to have some smooth curve between the shoulder, the arm and the hand. And once again, let's select all these and copy on the other side, and we want to have these. Let's select also the feet controller and eye location and rotation, and then these guys here only rotation, and we have not to forget that we also bend the body, so the head we have this. So we have 1 and 2, and we have a little bit issue. You see that I forgot the shoulder bones start to move too soon, and that's probably because I forgot to copy and paste this here. And now we have one problem. You see that the hands are trying to go from this A position to the B position through a straight line, and we don't want that, so we need one intermediate position to tell Blender that we want some kind of swing effect, something like this. And I like in one window to have this overlays option turned off, so I can see what's going on without the all controlling object visible. And now I also here I want to have, let's say, 6 keyframes to slow down and end this action. So maybe it goes more down with the hip and turn the body more like this. So let's insert a rotation for this, location for this one, and location and rotation for this. And also we want these knees pole controllers to open while the body is bending down. So we have the keyframe at frame 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. We want them to be more like this. And we can also probably have a little bit of rotation also of the foot. Okay, so we are in this kind of anticipation pose, and we are ready for the jump itself. So we have frame 24. We want to be sure to have all the controller bones with the keyframe, and this we can add some slight rotation for these 2 shoulder bones. At 24 we need a very fast action now, so 1, 2, let's try 3 frames, and we have our hip bone that reach the maximum length for the legs. And you remember we have this position, so let's rotate this. I also will use these heels controlling object that allow me to bring him on the toes. So let's insert a rotation, and only 1 frame I will reset. So we have this moment. You want to try to have straight line here between body and legs. So let's insert a rotation keyframe, and we want our hands to help us in this starting of the jump, so our hands should be somewhere like here. The shoulder bone is very important here. And we need to adjust this elbow. So let's try something like this. Okay. Here we have some weight problem. Maybe I'll try to fix later also that. But so let's Control C, Control Shift V to paste on the opposite side, and then let's insert a location and a rotation keyframe for this and those 4 objects here. And once again we have the hands that are trying to go from this point to the next one following a straight line, and we need to help Blender to understand which kind of direction we want to have. And we have to adjust this. Seems to be quite good. Okay, let me exaggerate a little bit more this part. In this moment I want his body to be more curved. So something like this, and we can also scale on the x-axis so it will be more fast. Okay, so we are at this moment, and now we need to unhide our cube. This is the last frame where our character is still in the contact with the ground. So what I can do now here is to select the hip and the 2 feet together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want to go really high. And this is higher than I can jump, and so I remember what is happening in a real jump, but I want to exaggerate a little bit here from my animation. So let's insert location and rotation keyframe for this, and I want to reset these 2 guys here. Oh, I made a mistake. You see here that the foot now are moving too soon, and that's because copy and paste here so that they stay on the ground until frame 28. And yeah, now what we want to do is to select these 2 heels and reset them, and instead we want to have this 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let's try this. Maybe here I want to change a little bit the position of my 2 feet. Okay, so now here this mid-air moment, I want him to slightly and still going up in the air, and probably I will have his feet to prepare for the landing. So this is and these 2, they are recovering, I guess, the position. So let me see. Yeah, you see that we have the initial jump and then this slowing down. Let me see, the last animated frame for the hip is the 36, and until this moment we want to have our hands that are adjusting themselves in the air. The shoulder bone is relaxing a little bit behind, and the pole controller is making something like this. So rotation, and let's change a little bit. So location and rotation for these two, and I don't remember if no, rotation for this one. So we are here, and now we want to have the contact moment. So 1, 2, 3 frames, and let's straight our leg and let's say that they land together. Even here you can be more creative, but let's try the easy way. So we want to select them together, and you have just to go back till this moment. I think we will have to add some, and let's select this and scale on the x-axis. I want to exaggerate even more this, so that we have more going down here. And now we have to go to the recovery position, so some kind of compression of our position. So let's say 1, 2, and 3 frame ahead, and we have to be somewhere like here. And these two can be more, we can try more like so, and then the frame after we want them, you see that the contact point is with the heel is here. If now I reset the rotation, this slide there, and I don't like this, so I have to reset, but also move this here. That's where they should be. So you understand that I'm trying to using this point as a pivot point for the rotation of these 2 feet controller. So you see that now, after the mid-air moment, the weight of the body of my character is coming back to Earth, and he has to deal with this weight. That after the jump, these 2 knee controllers are probably closing a little bit, but here when they arrive here, they want to open their position. So once again, probably I will open also I will rotate on the z-axis also the 2 feet. So let's try doing that, and insert a rotation for this. And I want to copy this and paste here, so the rotation of the knees will only happening in these 2 last keyframe. And you can see also the feet are rotating a little bit after the recovering of the body. And here is time for the hands also to inherit this falling action. So for example, the shoulder bones are animated until here. 1, 2, 3, 4 frames. Let's reset this rotation value, and then we want the shoulder bone to be forward for sure and pointing down. So now if we move our hand somewhere here and forward, probably we have a smooth transition between the body and the arm thanks to the deformation that the shoulder bones are making. Let's rotate those two. Ctrl C and paste opposite rotation for the shoulder, rotation for the elbow, and I want to change a little bit these two hands, and location and rotation for these two, and I think we have everything. So 1, 2, and then what is going to happen here is that after this compression we have some kind of bouncing. Let's try 6 frames, and we can go up, and these two can really react in this way. So location and rotation for this, and let's try to simply reset the two shoulder bones, and then we can move our hands down and a little bit the elbow more outside. And now we need to continue the this kind of recovery that we have after the compression. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames, and I want to continue this moment and this relaxing action of the arms, and instead the body is trying to get back to its balancing position. So let's try rotation for this, location, the two location and rotation, and also this slowly can go back and maybe a little bit down. And then to give the idea of finish this action, we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 frames later. We want this to move and the two hands to swing slowly forward. Let's also relax these two thumbs a little bit more. Oops. And you see that I left these two hands too much open. They are not relaxed. So after this is because I forgot to go back in the front view to check what was going on. So let's bring them more in. I'm trying to create some kind of relaxing swing effect. So they are going backward, the hands, and then you see that they stop too soon. So let's select this, give a little bit some frame more, and let's bring them forward a little bit more. Ooh, I made some mistake here. Something like this probably. And then we can add a last one. I really like to end with this kind of slowing down of the action so that they don't stop too much in a fast way. So I can probably relax a little bit on the leg, this. And give a last rotation for this one. Okay, there's many details to adjust for sure and add, but more or less I like only what I see that I don't like is that here, let me see, is this moment here. I want to have him to stay rotated more. Let's try. Yes, so the movement of the body is more visible. I don't want to have this video too long. I only want to animate the eyes very quickly. So what we want is to have him to look at the top of the box at the beginning. Be sure to be in local and individual origin when dealing with more than one bones at the time. So when he's going down, I still want him to, to look at the top, and then very quickly I can go and watch down, and then let's have him looking upward, something like this. Okay. So let's see what we have so far. So lastly, we can hide these two controllers so that I can select all these hair controllers. These are all tentacle bones created adding some extra rigify items. If you want to see a little bit more in detail how I did this, you can follow my tutorial about rigging this simple cartoonish character that I made. And one cool thing that now we can do is to have them to be animated all at once. So for example, I can say that we start here, I insert a rotation keyframe, and then over here I can rotate on x-axis, maybe here when he is coming down, and I have this funny effect. and I can reset them or go even more a little bit. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, we can have some kind of bouncing effect. And stop here. We have to stop once again. I made this video way too long. I only hope that this was not too much boring for you. And if you enjoyed, please leave a like, consider subscribing if you didn't do it yet. I also invite you to visit my main YouTube channel SottoZen, where I constantly upload 3D animation and VFX video. And finally, most important, visit my new Patreon page and consider becoming a supporter of me and my work, applying to one of my tiers. You will get a lot of benefits that I created for you. For example, all the 3D models or Blender scenes associated to my tutorials will be available for you to download. As always, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I really hope to see you soon with another great 3D animation video tutorial. Ciao!